Greetings, my friends. Love is often spoken of as a force beyond our control, a tempest that sweeps us off our feet, an intoxication that makes reason falter. But should we, as reasoning beings, surrender to such blindness? Should we not ask ourselves, is this love or is this addiction? The Stoics teach us that what we do not control, we should not be enslaved by. And yet, how often do we mistake attachment for love? We call it passion, yet it is dependency. We call it devotion, yet it is desperation. If your heart aches in absence, if your mind is restless without another, if your joy is bound only to one person, then you are not in love. You are shackled. True love, my friends, is not a cage but a liberation. It is not possession, but companionship. It does not demand, nor does it take. It gives, expecting nothing in return. It is in love, as in all things, that we must seek virtue, wisdom, temperance, and self-mastery. Do you love because it makes you better, or because you fear being alone? Do you stay because you admire, or because you cannot bear withdrawal? If your love chains you, it is not love, it is need, and the wise do not live in need. Let us then love as the Stoics would, not with dependency, but with strength, not in illusion, but in truth. Love should not strip you of your reason, it should align with it. Let your love be a choice, not a craving. And in that choice, you will find not only love, but freedom. Love, at its highest form, should set you free, not trap you. If your love makes you feel confined, anxious, or afraid of losing the other person, then it is not love, it is addiction. True love nurtures, encourages growth, and strengthens both individuals, while addiction to a person creates dependency, fear, and a sense of incompleteness without them. When love becomes a source of suffering rather than fulfillment, it is no longer love, but a desperate need to fill an emotional void. A healthy love allows both people to flourish independently, while choosing to walk together. If your happiness and self-worth depend entirely on someone else's presence, then you are no longer in a relationship, you are in captivity. Love should inspire, not consume. It should elevate, not weigh down. If it binds you, controls you, or causes you to lose yourself, then what you feel is not love, but a craving disguised as connection. True love does not make you less of yourself, it makes you more. Passion, when left unchecked by reason, can lead to chaos and suffering. It is a fire that, if not controlled, consumes everything in its path, including the very foundation of a relationship. Many mistake intense emotions for true love, but love without wisdom is nothing more than reckless desire. It blinds us to reality, making us ignore red flags, excuse poor treatment, and act impulsively in the name of romance. A love that is ruled by uncontrolled passion is unstable, unpredictable, and often destructive. True love, however, aligns with wisdom. It is not merely a rush of emotions, but a conscious choice, guided by understanding, patience, and virtue. It sees clearly, recognizing flaws without being deceived by fantasy. It does not lose itself in infatuation, but remains grounded in reality. Passion alone may create excitement, but without reason, it leads to suffering. Love, at its best, is not blindness, it is vision, a steady flame rather than a wildfire, a force that strengthens rather than destroys. Need is often mistaken for love, but the two are fundamentally different. Love is a choice, freely given and received, while need is a form of dependency that binds one person to another out of fear, not affection. If you stay with someone only because you are afraid of being alone, you are not experiencing love, you are clinging to them as a lifeline. This kind of attachment does not come from admiration or genuine connection, but from insecurity and the inability to be whole on your own. True love does not seek to fill an emptiness inside, but is shared between two complete individuals who enrich each other's lives without being the sole source of happiness. When a relationship is built on need, it creates imbalance, making one person overly reliant, and the other burdened with the responsibility of providing constant reassurance. This is not love. It is fear disguised as devotion. A love that is healthy and strong exists between two people who could stand alone but choose to be together. If you cannot be happy on your own, no relationship will ever truly fulfill you, because love is not about escaping loneliness. It is about sharing life from a place of strength, not weakness. Love, when true and pure, should never come at the cost of your self-sufficiency. It is not meant to weaken you or make you dependent on another for your sense of identity, purpose, or happiness. A Stoic understands that love is best experienced when both individuals remain whole, standing strong in their own character and virtues. To lose yourself in love, to let your emotions dictate your actions, to make another person the center of your existence, is not love, but surrender. When love strips you of your independence, it turns into an attachment that breeds fear, insecurity, and imbalance. The moment your well-being relies entirely on another, you are no longer loving, you are grasping. A Stoic does not love out of need, but out of choice. They give love freely, not as a demand or a transaction, but as an extension of their own completeness. They do not expect another to complete them, for they are already whole. Instead, they seek a partnership built on mutual respect, where love is shared, not possessed. Love should never make you less of who you are. It should encourage you to grow, to sharpen your wisdom, and to remain steadfast in your own virtue. If a relationship weakens your sense of self, then it is not love. It is an illusion of love, built on dependency rather than strength. The highest form of love is one where both individuals stand firm, unshaken by fear or loss, loving without attachment, and choosing each other, not out of necessity, but from a place of inner stability and wisdom. Relying on another person as your sole source of happiness is a dangerous illusion, one that places your well-being in the hands of something you cannot control. People change, circumstances shift, and relationships evolve. If your sense of joy and fulfillment depends entirely on someone else, you are setting yourself up for suffering. True inner peace comes from within, not from external sources that are unpredictable and ever-changing. The Stoics teach that we should focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, rather than allowing ourselves to be at the mercy of others. When you make another person responsible for your happiness, you give away your power. Their moods, actions, or even their presence determine your emotional state, leaving you vulnerable to disappointment, fear, and anxiety. Love, at its best, should enhance your life, not define it. A strong, grounded person can experience love deeply, without losing themselves in it. They appreciate companionship, but do not depend on it to feel whole. They find happiness in their own growth, their virtues, and their ability to navigate life with wisdom and resilience. If your peace is easily shaken by the actions or absence of another, it is a sign that you have placed too much weight on something outside of your control. Instead, cultivate an inner joy that remains steady no matter what happens around you. Love freely, but do not attach your entire sense of self to another. The highest love is one that complements your happiness, not one that defines it. True strength lies in loving without losing yourself, in cherishing others, while remaining complete on your own. Love, at its core, is a conscious choice, not an uncontrollable craving. Many people mistake infatuation or desire for love, believing that the intensity of their longing proves the depth of their feelings. But true love is not an impulse, it is an act of the will guided by wisdom and virtue. A person who loves wisely does not do so out of desperation or fear of being alone. They love because they genuinely admire the other person, because they recognize virtue in them, and because they wish to share a meaningful connection built on respect, not dependence. When love becomes a craving, it is no longer about the other person, but about filling an emotional void. This kind of love is selfish, driven by need, rather than by genuine appreciation. It leads to attachment, possessiveness, and a loss of self-control. A Stoic understands that love should never be rooted in desperation. It should come from a place of inner stability. When you love someone, it should not be because you cannot live without them, but because you choose to walk beside them while remaining whole within yourself. A love that is chosen, rather than craved, is steady and enduring. It is not swayed by fleeting emotions or external circumstances. It is built on mutual growth, on respect for each other's autonomy, and on the shared pursuit of a virtuous life. This kind of love does not cling or suffocate, it strengthens and uplifts. Love should never be about escaping loneliness or seeking validation. It should be about recognizing goodness in another and choosing to share in that goodness. A wise person loves with clarity, not confusion, with strength, not weakness. They do not surrender their reason to blind passion, but align their love with virtue, ensuring that it enriches rather than enslaves them. True love is not a transaction, nor is it a contract where affection is given in expectation of something in return. It is a gift, offered freely, without demand, without conditions, and without a sense of ownership. Many people believe they love selflessly, but their love often carries unspoken expectations. They give, but they expect acknowledgement. They sacrifice, but they secretly desire repayment. They offer affection, but they demand loyalty in return. This is not love, it is a form of possession, a disguised attempt to control another person's actions and feelings. A Stoic understands that love in its highest form is not about gaining something, but about giving without attachment to the outcome. When love is rooted in virtue, it does not seek validation or reward. It does not withhold affection when disappointed, nor does it manipulate to secure a desired response. Love that expects something in return is fragile. It can turn to resentment when those expectations are not met. But love that is freely given remains strong, because it is not dependent on anything outside of the giver's control. Rather, it means that true love flows from an inner abundance, not from a sense of lack. It is given because it is part of one's nature to give, not because one hopes to receive something in exchange. When love is free of expectation, it fosters genuine connection. It allows both individuals to be who they truly are, without the weight of obligation or fear of disappointing one another. The highest form of love is not found in possession, but in freedom, the freedom to love without needing to own, to give without needing to receive, and to cherish without seeking control. A strong relationship is not built on fleeting emotions, grand gestures, or passion alone. It is built on virtue. Love, if it is to be meaningful and lasting, must be guided by wisdom, temperance, and self-control. Without these, it is nothing more than an emotional storm, unpredictable and destructive. Many people enter relationships based on attraction or desire, mistaking intensity for depth. But a love that is not grounded in virtue will eventually crumble, because it lacks the foundation necessary to withstand life's challenges. Wisdom ensures that love is based on understanding, not illusion. It allows us to see our partner clearly, recognizing both their strengths and flaws without being blinded by infatuation. A wise love is not impulsive, it is thoughtful and deliberate, choosing a partner based on character rather than fleeting emotions. Temperance keeps love balanced. It prevents us from becoming consumed by passion or from making irrational decisions in the heat of the moment. It teaches us to love steadily, not recklessly, ensuring that our emotions serve us rather than control us. Self-control is essential because love can stir powerful emotions, jealousy, anger, fear, and longing. Without discipline, these emotions can lead to possessiveness, insecurity, and unhealthy attachment. But when love is guided by self-control, it remains stable, allowing both individuals to grow without being suffocated by neediness or irrational demands. A love without self-control turns into chaos. If a relationship does not align with these virtues, it is not worth pursuing, for it will bring more suffering than fulfillment. True love strengthens both individuals, helping them become better, wiser, and more grounded. A love rooted in virtue is not easily shaken. It does not depend on external circumstances, but remains steady, built on the unshakable foundation of character and integrity. If love is to last, it must be more than just passion. It must be principled. Emotions are a natural part of being human, and love is among the most powerful of them. However, to live wisely, one must temper emotions rather than be controlled by them. Many believe that to love deeply means to surrender completely, to be overtaken by feeling, and to let passion dictate their choices. But this is not love in its highest form. It is a loss of self-mastery. A Stoic does not reject love, nor do they seek to erase emotions, but they ensure that emotions remain in their rightful place, as guides, not as rulers. To feel love is not a weakness. To be consumed by it is. When emotions go unchecked, they cloud judgment, leading to impulsive decisions, unrealistic expectations, and unnecessary suffering. Love, when untempered, turns into obsession, attachment, or desperation. It can make one blind to red flags, tolerate mistreatment, or lose one's own identity in the process of pleasing another. This is not love. It is enslavement to emotion. True love is felt deeply, but it does not overpower reason. It exists in harmony with wisdom, allowing one to love without losing oneself. Temperance ensures that love is steady rather than erratic, rational rather than reckless. It allows us to appreciate love's beauty without being shattered by its loss. When love is balanced, it enhances life, rather than disturbs inner peace. To love wisely is to embrace emotion, while maintaining control over it. It is to experience love fully, yet remain anchored in reason. Let love be a fire that warms, not one that burns uncontrollably. Let it inspire, not enslave. A strong heart feels, but a strong mind ensures that feeling does not become folly. Love, but love with wisdom. Feel, but do not lose yourself in feeling. That is the way of a Stoic. Love should never weaken you, nor should it cause you to abandon your principles, values, or sense of self. A Stoic understands that love, like all things in life, must be approached with strength, not with desperation or dependence. Many people believe that to love fully means to give everything, to lose oneself in another, to prioritize the relationship above all else. But this is not love, it is surrender. When love causes you to compromise your integrity, betray your wisdom, or lose your sense of individuality, it is no longer love in its highest form. It is a form of self-abandonment. A Stoic does not dissolve into love. They stand firm within it. They love deeply, but they do not become so entangled that they forget who they are. Love should enhance a person, not diminish them. It should bring out their best qualities, not make them dependent, anxious, or emotionally unstable. Strength in love means maintaining self-respect, setting healthy boundaries, and ensuring that affection does not turn into attachment. It means choosing to love from a place of confidence, not from fear of being alone. Weak love clings, begs, and loses itself in emotional turbulence. Strong love remains steady, dignified, and guided by virtue. When a Stoic loves, they do so without illusions or neediness. They cherish their partner, but they do not rely on them for happiness, identity, or purpose. They remain whole within themselves, knowing that true love is not about possessing another, but about walking alongside them with mutual respect. To love with strength is to love with clarity. It is to give freely, not to demand in return. It is to remain unwavering in character, even when faced with loss or disappointment. Love should not strip you of your inner peace. It should align with it. The highest love is not one that weakens, but one that strengthens both individuals, allowing them to grow without losing themselves. Love deeply, but never at the cost of who you are. Love with an open heart, but always with a steady mind. Love is one of life's greatest experiences, but only when it is embraced with wisdom, strength, and virtue. Do not mistake attachment for love, nor desperation for devotion. True love does not weaken, it empowers. It does not enslave, it liberates. It is not a craving to be satisfied, but a choice to be made each day with clarity and self-respect. If love costs you your peace, your independence, or your sense of self, then it is not love, it is a change. Break free from the illusion that love should consume you. Instead, love with purpose, with balance, and with the unwavering strength of a Stoic heart. Stand firm in who you are, and let love be something that complements your life, not something that controls it. Choose love wisely, give it freely, but never lose yourself in it, because the greatest love you will ever experience is not one that completes you, it is one that finds you already whole.